The Daily Dose News. On April 10, 2025, a devastating helicopter crash over the Hudson River claimed the lives of 6 people, including a well-known Spanish business executive, his wife, their 3 children, and the young pilot, marking one of the most tragic aviation accidents in recent New York City history and sparking urgent investigations and public outcry over the safety of helicopter tours operating in densely populated urban areas. The Bell 206 helicopter, operated by New York Helicopters, took off from the downtown Manhattan heliport at around 3:00 p.m. for a routine sightseeing flight, but experienced a catastrophic mechanical failure less than 20 minutes into the journey, with eyewitnesses reporting that the aircraft began breaking apart mid-air, specifically the main rotor blades, before spiraling out of control and crashing into the Hudson River near the Holland Tunnel, a moment described as terrifying and surreal by those watching from both sides of the river. The victims were identified as Agustin Escobar, President and CEO of Siemens Spain, his wife, Merce Camprubi Montal, and their children aged 4, 5, and 11, along with the 21-year-old pilot, whose name has not been made public yet but who was reportedly in the early stages of his aviation career, adding further heartbreak to an already unimaginable loss. Rescue teams from the NYPD, FDNY, Coast Guard, and other agencies responded rapidly, launching search and recovery operations, retrieving the bodies and the submerged wreckage, while federal investigators from the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, and the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, began probing the cause, focusing on potential mechanical failure, rotor detachment, and maintenance records of the aircraft. Early reports suggest that a collision between the main rotor and the tail boom could have caused the chopper to break up mid-flight, a dangerous scenario that has occurred in past incidents involving the same model, raising questions about the safety and continued use of aging helicopters like the Bell 206. Public officials, including New York City Mayor Eric Adams and New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy, issued statements expressing condolences to the victims' families and emphasizing the importance of a full and transparent investigation, with both leaders noting the emotional and international impact of the crash as Spain mourns the loss of one of its top business leaders and his young family. In Spain, tributes poured in from across the country, with Siemens Spain declaring a day of mourning and Spanish consular officials coordinating with U.S. authorities to support the families and manage repatriation of the victims. The crash has reignited long-standing debates over the safety of helicopter tourism in New York City, an industry that has grown despite repeated calls for reform, with critics arguing that the risks far outweigh the benefits and that stricter regulations, or even a full ban on non-essential flights, should be implemented to prevent future tragedies, especially given the number of fatal or serious incidents involving tour helicopters in recent decades. Aviation safety experts also weighed in, highlighting the complex airspace over Manhattan and the technical demands placed on pilots flying in such congested and challenging environments, especially with aging aircraft models and potentially insufficient oversight of maintenance protocols. The FAA and NTSB are expected to release a preliminary report within weeks, though the full investigation could take up to a year, during which the helicopter's flight data, maintenance logs, and pilot history will be examined in detail to determine whether human error, technical malfunction, or oversight failures contributed to the accident. In the meantime, city council members and transportation officials have begun discussing new measures, including potential restrictions on tour helicopter routes, tighter maintenance requirements, and revised air traffic rules to reduce the risk to passengers, pilots, and people on the ground. While the city and nation mourn the lives lost in what should have been a joyful sightseeing flight, the conversation now turns to accountability, safety reform, and honoring the victims by ensuring that nothing like this happens again.